Okay, so step 2. Step 1 is we looked at the initial deal, see if everything looked good. We looked at the photographs or videos or anything we can see to see if we like the place. So step 2 would be to dive into the numbers to see if the numbers make financial sense. One of the things we're going to look at on this particular deal again is we're going to dive into the numbers. Again, when people work with Complete Lending and our deal delivered, this is some of the due diligence we do. What we'll do is we turn around and we work the numbers on the deals. So we look at some of the raw data. So in this particular case, we know it's a 2-bedroom, it's a 1-bath, it's 1,000 square feet. We got that back room, that sunroom in the back behind the kitchen where we can make the kitchen larger, or maybe we could put in a little eat-in bistro back there with a little bistro table. We might be able to put in a stackable washer laundry room. So if you can imagine a little stackable, laundry closet, and next to it just a pantry for storage. So there's a lot of different choices. We could potentially make that a 3rd bedroom. We'd have to look at the dimensions of the room and see what makes the most amount of sense. Here's the raw data. You can pull this from a title company or just, by Googling and looking at Redfin or Trulia. Obviously, those different sites have a lot of data on the property. When you scroll down and you expand this information, you can find it all. In this particular case, the wholesaler gives it to me, so I can see all the details of it, where it's located, all that great stuff. What I really want to do is I want to turn around and look at comps. So here are some comps that have been provided. I can see where the subject property is. Obviously, you always want to do your own comps, but here are 3 simple comps. The ARV is $325,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at their comps and we're going to see what we have. So we have comps that are 1,000, 1,050, 1,100 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We're 315, we're 324, so 325 and 327. Their idea of $325,000 ARV seems all reasonable. Time-wise, it's all within our, we're here in October, so these are all reasonable. So then what we would do is we would dive into the individual comps and take a look at them. So obviously this place is like new. I mean, it's beautiful. It's in great condition. We want to take a look at that and see what we think about it. We want to look at the size of the lot, when it was built, 1940, but you can tell it's completely renovated. So again, then he's going to give me some information usually about these particular deals. Here's another one, $325,000, built 1923. You can see it's completely renovated. It looks beautiful. They've done a great job. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to read the comps, the comments on each of the comps to see, if we're apples for apples, if we're what our competitors have done. And here's one that's very similar to the one we're looking at, built in 1924. Days on market was only on the market for 1 day. Days on market only on the market for 18 days. Days on the market 36 days. So it looks like things done right in the area. And when I say done right, we haven't dove into these. What I would do is I would take these addresses, I would pull them up on Zillow or Redfin. I would look at the photographs, really take the time to see the finishes, the colors. Are they using little $10 dome lights from Home Depot? Are they putting fans? Are they installing can lights in them? What colors? I mean, you really want to copy. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to copy what your successful competitors are doing. So what we would do is we would read all this stuff to get familiar with what's going on. And then here's the scope of work that Riley set aside. He's saying it needs to be painted inside. I agree. I think it needs to be painted outside. I'm not seeing any exterior paint, so that's not in the budget. It needs a new kitchen, or new laminate flooring throughout. So he's allocated, $3,700. Seems reasonable at $350 a square foot. That's pretty much going price. Kitchen, obviously it needs new kitchen cabinets. It needs new kitchen countertop. It needs a new appliance package of $3,000. It needs the bathroom redone, which I think that bathroom doesn't need to be redone. I think we can save that tile, save that shower. And I would probably go with like a dark, like black, instead of the brushed nickel or chrome finishes. I would take off the shower head and I would put like a nice rain shower head or a combo one, but I would go with the like oiled bronze, the dark black. It just pops so much better. It seems to be pretty hip right now. He's got some new fans, 6 new fan lights in there. He's got the roof, which needs to be replaced, so $7,500 there, which is important. He's got $2,500 for landscape, which is great because all we would have to do is move that one palm. I just don't like it there. Then in the back, I would push back that gravel and just kind of push it back where the gravel is, where the driveway is. And what I would do is I would do some kind of landscaping to soften it a little bit back there. He's got trash out, the dumpster. He's got $4,000 for miscellaneous. That'll cover painting the outside. And he's got $4,000 for structural because apparently there's a little slope in that back storage room. So I don't know what it is, but more than likely Obviously, you could probably pull the floor because you're putting new flooring in, shore it up, sister any of the joists, lay down new floor. That wouldn't cost $4,000. So what's nice, he's got really $8,000 in additional miscellaneous pad for $36,000 total. Looking at a 1,000 square foot home that's in really clean condition, $36,000 is viable. That's what we're going to look at. Then what you'd want to do is you'd want to run your numbers on this particular deal. So what you want to do is you want to run the profit projection. So if our sales price or ARV is $325,000, then what happens is we've got a purchase price of $235,000 and the rehab was $36,000. I think it'd be done for $35,000, so I just put it at $35,000. You would put in all your fees and figure out how much your loan costs are and your taxes and your insurance and all these variables. But the important part here is really kind of figuring out your profitability on this deal. That's the most important part. So what'll happen is the down payment on this particular property is $39,000, somewhere around 20% down. The closing cost, $2,500. It's a little cheaper for me because obviously I could be paying cash, or I don't have to pay myself points because I own the mortgage company, so it's a little bit cheaper. But anyway, so you figure out the buying cost, the lending costs. Maybe I did put it with some lending costs in here. So there's the mortgage payments. Here are the reserves. So you can see the total cost to close on this transaction is $37,000. And the total cost of doing the entire deal is pretty much $57,000, because you still have to make mortgage payments, you still have interest, you still have insurance. So if we sell this thing for $325,000, and we have selling costs, we have commissions, we have a listing commission of 1%, we have a sales commission to the buyer's agent of maybe 2.5% to 3%, plus we have title, escrow, notary fees, transfer tax, things of that nature, maybe a little staging. So I just use 5%. So there's about $16,000 in expenses when we sell the place. Our rehab budget, we allocated $35,000. If we hold this thing for 4 months, I did a 5-month hold. So if we hold the place for 5 months, if it takes us 5 months from the day we buy it, if it's from the day we write a check to the day we get a check, if it's 5 months, we have about $9,400 in mortgage payments. We have another $1,900 in taxes and insurance that we have to pay. And then we had our buying costs, which would be acquisition, appraisal, inspection fees. So I set aside over here, I set aside $450 for an appraisal. I set aside $350 for an inspection. Obviously, I set some lending fees in here. So $8,000 lending fees. And then our purchase price is $230,000. So what we're left with is $23,000, $23,749 as our profit. So what the heck does that mean to us? I tend to be a yield player. I look at yields more than the dollar amount, because the dollar amount can be misleading, but yield will tell you the truth of this deal. So on this particular deal, what we're looking at is we're looking at a profit margin. We're looking at an investment of $47,000 to close, $58,000 total funds needed. Over here it says 56. The reason why is I throw in an extra mortgage payment in there because I never know if you're closing at the beginning of the month or the end of the month, because there's prepaid interest, so I threw some prepaid interest in there. So basically our total investment, if it takes us 5 months, is $58,000, in which case we're making $23,000 on $58,000. So our return on our investment, if we did this in 6 months, would be 40.47%. It's a hell of a return. Right now, banks, the national average in the United States is 0.5%. At 0.5%, it would take us 80 years. We'd have to live 80 years for us to make the same return on investment. So it seems like it's a pretty good investment. 0.5%, 1%, 3% in a CD versus 40%. That's cash on cash. Now, if we go annualized, if we do this in 6 months, then our cash on cash return would double, right? Because cash on cash is what return am I getting for every dollar I put in. Annualized takes into consideration time. So if we flip this place in 6 months and make 40% return on our money, annualized return would be twice as much, because we did it in half the amount of time. So our annualized rate of return is 80.94%. So 80% return on our money. So technically, if the bank was paying us 1% on our money, we would have to keep our money in the bank for 80 years. But right now the bank's paying us 0.5%. So we'd have to keep our money in the bank for 160 years for it to generate a $23,000 profit. So I'm not going to be around for another 40 or 160 years. did I say 180 years, 160 years. So it looks like a good deal to me. You can make 40% cash on cash, 80% annualized rate of return. The numbers make sense. Maybe the $23,000 payday, isn't a great payday, but what else are you going to do with your $58,000? It needs to be deployed somewhere, and if your $58,000 can make you $23,000, and if you could roll that twice a year, you could put it in a deal for 6 months, and then we could roll it in another 6 months. That means that $23,000 would be $46,000 off the same investment. That'd be an 80% return on your money. Not too shabby. So hopefully this part makes sense. We've looked at the deal, and now we've crunched the numbers. We've looked at the pictures. Looks good. We've looked at the budget. It's sensible. They didn't have outside painting on there, but they had some other things budgeted. So I think the whole place could be done for $35,000. We might have to reconfigure a room, spruce up a bathroom, paint, new flooring, a little bit of landscaping. So pretty much an easy in and out deal. And at the end of the day, it looks like it's a really profitable deal because we have 40% return on our money. And let's face it, no one wants to get out of bed and work this hard for $10,000. But let's say we only made $10,000. That would still be a 20% cash on cash return. It'd still be a 40% annualized rate of return on our money. So if you have money that's not doing anything, and if it's not earning 20, 30, 40, 80% annualized, then kind of makes sense to flip. So hopefully you find this video helpful, and we will continue with the next one.